know nobody on this road that can save your soul. Almost lost control now. Tell me what you need in a friend and now. Pray that we endure to the end again. I'm just saying that I'm here for you. When the world turn against you, I'ma be with you. Got my soul in my hand, you can count on me. I won't run and hide, fight mightily.
Waiting on O.F.I. See the Jacob, I'm the apple of my father's eye. I learned the truth for who I was and it made me cry. If I don't keep the laws of Yah, then I'm gonna die. Living curses, but I'm edifying in my verses. Prepare the hearses for the heathens who be steady learning.
Con. Another Monday night manna through the spirit and power of the Most High Yahweh. All praises to the Most High Yahweh. We do so by Shema Mashiach Wamalak Yahushai, in the name of his only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls as Christ. Tonight, y'all, something been on my spirit in a so-called Black Hebrew Israelite community, right? And I say so-called Black Hebrew Israelite community because, you know, that's the moniker, the byword, the what do you call it, ad hominem that they call us in this world, in modern society. But I think that we need a lesson, a refresher on brotherly and sisterly love. You know, you can know 1,000 breakdowns, you can keep 1,000 feast days, you can have 1,000 precepts, you can have 1,000 garments with the fringes all on them. You can have 1,000 mitris that match the garments with the fringes. You can have thousands of thousands of thousands. You know, but if you don't got brotherly and sisterly love, what do you really have? What are we talking about here? You know, it's been a lot of debates and things of that. Hey, this is the lunar Sabbath, this is the 7-day Sabbath, this is this breakdown, or this is this camp, and this is that camp. But if you don't got brotherly and sisterly love, if we don't have that among each other, what are we talking about here, y'all? So I think that lately it's been seeming like in the community, it's been a lot of contention, and it's been a lot of vanity, in my opinion, a lot of vain actions, y'all. And so from that perspective, it's like, what is separating us from people, Hebrew Israelites that don't know they're Hebrew Israelites, or the Gentiles that are ethnic Gentiles, the heathen in the world, y'all? What's separating us from them? And as far as our actions, are we being that light that it talks about in Matthew the 5th chapter, I believe, right? Are we being that light and letting our light shine to the world? Are we getting caught up in all of this noise? We got to examine ourselves as a nation, as a body. So this lesson tonight, Lord willing, is to remind us that, man, we got to let brotherly love, and when I say brotherly love, right, chiefly exhorting the men, the heads of the households, the heads of families, the heads of camps, right? You so-called Black Hebrew Israelites, as they call us, right? You so-called Latinos, Native Americans, where the love at, y'all? Did we get so caught up in the truth and caught up in learning the breakdowns and bringing out the precepts? And are we living this life, or are we just professing to know what the words say, what the scripture says, right? So we're going to start off with the mighty words of Mashiach Wamalak Yahushai, right? The mighty words of Yahushai. And this is John 13:34. A new commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another, as I have loved you, that ye also love one another. So when we get into this right here, this is Yahushai telling us that we gotta love one another. Hey, where did all the love go? Do you really love your brother? Are you willing to stand 10 toes down in the trenches to ensure by Shema Mashiach Woman like Yahushua the salvation of your brother or sister? And when that brother or sister, piss you the hell off, are you just immediately write them off, right? Or are you long suffering? Where's the love at, y'all? Are you too caught up in debating the precepts or debating your stance or debating your breakdown that we overlook the love? Where's the love of the nation? Hey, when that brother or that sister falls short, are you too busy tearing them down versus coming in? It says those who are a spiritual restorer, one paraphrasing such as falls. We got to examine ourselves, y'all, as a nation, you know, and where's the love? That's the question I'm asking everybody. Where is the love? Right? And when we go into these words of Yahweh Shai, it says, a new commandment I give unto you. Now, this isn't a new commandment. So Yahweh Shai isn't adding to the word and saying, hey, I'm now giving you a new commandment that has never existed. He's refreshing. A new commandment is going into a refreshing. Look, we go into this anew. Look, afresh, anew, afresh. He said he's refreshing your memory, right? He's reminding you, hey, to keep this on top, one of your top priorities, right? To refresh one. Look, especially in freshness. Neos is probably so respect to a new age and new moon. When you think about the new moon isn't a brand new moon, y'all. Think about what I'm saying here. When we celebrate the new moon, that moon has gone through various phases and it's refreshed. It's not literally saying it's a new moon like the old moon was gone and the Most High just created a brand new moon and put it up there. So when Yahweh Shai is teaching you, is teaching us and saying a new commandment, he's saying a refreshing. He's giving you this should be brought back to the forefront of your mind, of your spirit, that you should be refreshing the love, right? A fresh. So when we go into this, Yahweh Shai is teaching us that the foundation is we got to be loving one another. Now let's get Leviticus 19 and 17, right? Because this is going to show you that Yahweh Shai is teaching from the law. Leviticus 19 and 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. So this is going back into showing the love. Do you love your brother enough to rebuke him or to rebuke her, your sister, enough in her error? Out of love, out of not wanting to condemn just for the sake of condemnation, but condemnation unto restoration. You're condemning the sin and condemning the shortcoming of your brother or sister out of love to restore them back into righteousness. Both of those should be out of love. Your intentions should be out of love, not out of the deception of unsincerity, not out of wanting to just damn shake the hand. You got to be wanting to move in the spirit of love. And we oftentimes have to remind ourselves, and this is why the scriptures say, meditate on the scriptures. You got to meditate on the precepts. You got to meditate on the word. Because if not, these things won't be stored up in you, and you quick to react based off carnality, based off your feelings, based off emotions. And those things, when you react in those manner of ways, it oftentimes is going to lead to a sinful approach. Because now you're not moving through the spirit, you're moving through the flesh. So it's important to keep these truths stored up in our minds. So as we move around, as we go through different situations with other brothers and sisters, that we move through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Now, when we say moving through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, you got to break that down, because what is it like to move in the spirit of Yahushua? Ask yourself that. Moving through the spirit of Yahushua is moving in a way that's just righteousness, that's always righteous, that's always holy, right? That's redeeming the time because the days are evil. that's perfecting your walk, right? What does it say? It was that Matthew 5, verse 30, I believe. Be ye perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect. So you want to be moving through that spirit of Yahweh Shai all the time. You want to be built up to be able to obtain that pinnacle of spiritual perfection, right? And that's going to enable you, most high willing, to continue to be able to have discernment and to make the right decisions, even in hard situations or even in hard circumstances, especially when we dealing with one another, because we are the children of the Most High. Think about how you would feel if somebody was mistreating your son, right? Like Yahweh Shai said, and this is coming to mind. Let me get this real quick, right? Think this is 1 second. I think this Matthew 21 and 35, what I want. It's Matthew 21 and 35. Bear with me real quick, y'all. Because when you think about, yeah, right here, I think this is what I want right here. I'm gonna start with verse 33. In Matthew 21 and 33, it says, "Hear another parable. There was a certain householder which planted a vineyard and hedged it round about and digged a winepress in it and built a tower and let it out. Let it means leased it out to husbandmen. Husbandmen are men who do the work, right? Chiefly going into normally like agricultural farming and things of that nature, and went into a far country. And when the time of the fruit drew near, that's when the time of the harvest drew near, he sent his servants to the husbandmen that they may receive the fruits of it, right? Because you got to think about this. He built, he prepared, and then he leased it out. And a part of the payment for the lease was him to get his share of the crops that had been yielded. But he went off to a far country. And the husbandman took his servants and beat one and killed another one and stoned another. So here he is, he owns the land and they owe him. And he sent his servants to collect what was his off his land. And they beat him, they beat one of his servants, they murked one of his servants, and they stoned another one. Again, he sent other servants more than the first, and they did unto them likewise. But last of all, he sent unto them his son, saying, they will reverence my son. But when the husbandmen saw the son, they said among themselves, this is the heir. Come, let us kill him and let us seize his inheritance. Now, why I came here, Lord willing, through the Spirit, is that we are the sons of the Most High. We are the children of the Most High, right? Imagine that. Imagine you leaving your possession, which is this ministry, right? The Most High's possession is this ministry. And you entrusted this to your sons and to your daughters. And you have other people who've mistreated your sons and your daughters in their duty. How would you feel? We are the sons and the daughters of the Most High God. So with that in mind, we have to remain cognizant, of this situation, of the fact that when you're mistreating, when you're not moving in a spirit of brotherly love or sisterly love to that other Israelite, you are mistreating a daughter of Zion. You are mistreating a son of Zion. You are mistreating the children of the Most High. And how would the Most High will get up with you? You're his child mistreating one of his other children. Think about that, y'all. So let's put aside all of the doctrinal differences. Let's put aside all of the doctrinal debates, right? That's cool. We should be striving and contending for the faith. I'm not against that. But let's really think And let's really, Lord willing, move when we say through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Shimei Shai. Let's not just make that Hebrew Israelite phraseology, y'all. Let's really mean that. Let's sincerely, Lord willing, do our best to move through that spirit of brotherly love. Because let's see what happened right here. Let's see what happened, right? Bear with me. Let's see what happened. Now watch this. Let's see what the householder did, right? And they caught him and cast him out of the vineyard and slew him. When the Lord thereof of the vineyard cometh, what will he do unto those husbandsmen? They say unto him, he will miserably destroy those wicked men and will let out his vineyard unto other husbandmen, which shall render him the fruits in their season. You don't want to be spiritually right in a position where you're destroying the children of the daughters of Zion, the kings, the sons of Zion, the Israelites, the sons of the Most High, through your actions, through your disposition. A lot of y'all got bad attitude. A lot of us Hebrew Israelites got terrible attitudes, y'all. Prideful, damn attitudes, damn can't have no type of ability to communicate with one another. Very contentious. These are things in the community that we got to shine a light on, and we got to fix these problems, y'all. We got to address these issues. And 99% of them come from us not moving in the spirit of brotherly love. And I'm calling it out, y'all. Too many camps bashing too many camps, but we going to talk about it. Because if we don't talk about it and if we don't correct it, we become like the Christian church, y'all. Hypocrites. Seeing things and seeing us moving in error and not having the wherewithal, the godliness, the discourse, not having the humility, and not having the faith to address it. And pray to the Most High God that he puts the spirit of correction on us as a nation. I'm not pointing out one single camp. I'm pointing out all camps. I'm not pointing out one single congregation. I'm pointing out all congregations. It's time, y'all, for us to take accountability. And it's time for us to get back to the foundation. Brotherly and sisterly love. All right. Put in the love of Yahweh by Shema Mashek, woman like Yahushai, above all else. Moving through that righteous spirit, right? Let's get Proverbs 17 and 17. Because another thing, too, remember that brotherly and sisterly love is about building that relationship, being friendly, being able to have each other for the times of adversities that are presently knocking at our doorstep, y'all. For the days of adversity. This is what we got to be built up for. Remember, a friend loveth at all time, and a brother is born for adversity. When you go into this word adversity right here, right? Straits. I know you heard of the word dire straits. I want to get this real quick. Dire straits definition. Dire straits refers to a situation of extreme difficulty, trouble, or hardship. It describes a state of being in a bad or perilous situation, often with financial or other serious implications. The term can be used to describe a personal crisis or a broader societal problem. Look, dire means very serious or extreme according to the dictionary definition. Straits in this context refers to a difficult or challenging situation, not the geographical strait. So dire straits, a extreme difficulty, trouble or hardship, a state of being in a bad or perilous situation. And we know based on the prophecies, perilous times is at our doorstep, y'all. The valley of the shadows of death is approaching us. So we got to be able to realize that it's not the time. It was never the time, right? But chiefly, if y'all got ears to ear, chiefly, especially now, is not the time for us to not to be building stronger, y'all, as a nation. All right. We understand that we'll see eye to eye, Lord willing, we in that number when the Most High restores Zion, when the Most High brings the kingdom. So we understand everybody is not going to be 100% on the same doctrine. We get all of that. But that doesn't mean we're not supposed to be 100% on the same exercising love among one another. Because when these perilous times come, if we're spending so much time debating on our differences as opposed of rocking with our similarities, which is the foundation, which is the law, statutes and commandments, the judgments, right? The love and faith in the Mashiach woman like Yahushua. What the hell is we doing here, y'all? Remember, back to the precept. A friend loveth at all times. It don't say you're not going to get angry. It don't say you're not going to get frustrated with your brothers and sisters. But where's the love at, y'all? Does the frustration overrule the love? It's a lot of envy going on right now. Oh, well, this congregation is bigger than this congregation. We gotta stop all of that, y'all. It's nonsense, man. It's stuff for the world. When aren't we set apart? Did we forget these things? We're the set apart nation. Deuteronomy 4, it says all the other nations are supposed to look at us and say, what great nation has laws and statutes and commandments as great as these? Did we forget that, y'all? Are we too caught up in going through the actions? Are we becoming hypocrites, y'all? What's going on? Where's the love, y'all? Family, where's the love? This is a serious situation. We all we got, y'all. We all we got, man. We supposed to be training up our children, being a mighty example to them, to the next generation. We talked about how the previous generation has failed us. What example are we? And not everybody in the previous generation. We got the Most High has raised up some mighty elders, right? Some mighty elders. Despite the doctrinal differences, despite we got Elder Priest of Bach, right? And I'm not saying we got any doctrinal differences with him. I'm just saying as the whole of Yasha Allah, there's a lot of doctrinal differences. You got to think all the elders of One West. The Hars, the Bishop Nathaniels, man, it's a lot of mighty elders that the Most High brought out of the world, right? And even among the elders, y'all, this is a message to our elders. Don't forget the brotherly love. Now that everybody got camps and, congregations, all praise to the Most High, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, they're growing. Brothers is doing the work. Sisters is getting in order. Children are being raised up. Let's not forget the brotherly love. Let's not forget the sisterly love. Elders, I'm calling out to y'all. It's your responsibility in this truth to continue to be a light even unto the younger brothers and sisters. And the babes in this truth, the toddlers, the infants, the teenagers. I'm still a babe in this. I'm a toddler in this truth. Yo, where the love at, man? And a brother is born for adversity. A brother is born to go through those hard times, those adverse times, those troublous times, those straits, those dire straits. That's what we born for. That's that brotherhood. That's that sisterhood. You should be able to pick up the phone and call your brother or your sister, and they should know you got their back mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. Hey, sometimes financially. A lot of y'all brothers and sisters, including myself, where you love at with the arms? You've been blessed with more than you could ever need. But does your alms equal, or even are they in proportionate to your blessings? We got to examine ourselves, family. We got to examine ourselves. And we got to continue to build as a nation. You know, because it's sad. It's really getting sad that we've been so caught up in our identity. And it's a beautiful thing to be brought into this truth and to realize the power of being a Hebrew Israelite, the culture, learning the language, right? Learning the breakdowns, right? Taking back your identity, your nativity, learning we got a land where we really from. We an ancient nation from the East. Learning about our God, how to serve him. Hey, learning about the feast days, the new moons, the Passover, tabernacles, Pentecost, death and destruction of Nicanor, first fruits, memorial blowing of the trumpets, Purim, Purayam in the Hebrew. But let's not forget the brotherly and sisterly love, the thing that interweaves and connects it all together. Let's not forget these things, y'all. Right? Let's get Romans 12 and 10. Romans 12 and 10. Be kindly affectioned, Salakia, one to another with brotherly love, in honor, preferring one another. You know, we talk about how we don't rock with the other nations and this and that, and you know, a death to Esau, a destruction to America. Man, listen, all that is fine and dandy, and all praises to the Most High. But don't forget your foundation is love of your brother and your sister. Don't the scriptures say, paraphrasing, how can you love God who you haven't seen, but hate your brother who you have seen? That don't really even make sense. Even from a practical standpoint, it don't make sense. It's like I get on my daughters all the time because I'm like, you know what? Y'all are sisters. Y'all got to learn how to build together inside of the home. Love starts inside of the home. If y'all can't love each other inside of the home, I'll be damned if you go outside of the home and try to give love. That's backwards, y'all. Love has to start inside of our nation. And there's been such a lack of love, you know, in the world. When we're in the world, we don't want to carry that mentality in here in the truth. You don't want love to be this. You don't want love of your brother and sister to be a byproduct, a circumstance of you being in the truth. You want it to be a foundational stone, right? You want it to be your foundation to build on. Be kindly affectioned. Let's go into this word affection right here. Tenderly loving. Now remember, y'all, when we go to Deuteronomy 28 and 54, and it said it uses this same phraseology. We used to be, so the man that was tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil towards his brother. And when you think about tenderly loving, look, from Philos and storage. I think that's how you say that. Storge, kindly affection, cherishing one's kindred. Look at that, y'all. So when we talk about, yeah, we got to love ourselves, death and destruction to the other nations, they going in captivity, them, oh, that's fine. All praises. Bring it out. But guess what, y'all? If we ain't cherishing our own kindred, what is we doing here? Salakia, what are we doing here? Think about that. I want to give y'all an assignment, right? I want to give y'all an assignment. And this assignment ain't for me. This assignment is for us. Catch what I'm saying? This assignment ain't for me. This is an assignment that you ain't got to turn in to nobody. This is an assignment for us that you never have to turn in. I want you to examine yourself. I want you to write down 3 ways that you've been falling short and showing brotherly and sisterly love. So again, you ain't got to email it. You ain't got to post it. This is for you, for us. And I want you to write down 3 ways that you have been showing brotherly and sisterly love. And reflect on those. Let's see how we can become better as a nation. Let's see how we can cherish our kindred, especially parents or children. Look, fond of natural relatives. Fond. When you fond of somebody or of something, look, reciprocal tenderness. Look, brotherly, tenderly affectionate one to another. Like, we got to really wake up, y'all. And we got to be able to be in a position where we got to stop depending and worrying so much about a breakdown when our brotherly and sisterly love is being broken down. Let's move on. Let's get Hebrews 13:1, y'all. Let's get Hebrews 13:1. Let brotherly love continue. Now listen, when it says brotherly love, it's not only talking, does this mean sisters? Because a lot of you sisters got attitude problems. Straight up and down. Bad attitudes. Terrible attitudes. Sister can't even approach you. Oh, what this is, man. So you got to let sisterly love continue too. It's a precept that says, I'm going to get this precept. I'm going to paraphrase it. I don't know exactly where it is. I believe it's Proverbs. It say a friend, I think, must shew themselves friendly. I think that's very Proverbs 18:24. Get this real quick. And we're going to come back to this Hebrews 13:1. Proverbs 18:24, I believe. Bam. A man that hath friends must shew himself friendly, and there is a friend that sticketh closer than a brother. Right? You look, this latter part we gonna get to because I just saw something that's deep in that. But this first part, a man that hath friends must shew himself friendly. A lot of y'all don't know how to be friendly. And I had to learn this. You know, when I first came into the truth, I was rubbing a lot of brothers and sisters the wrong way, y'all. Straight up and down. Like, I was rubbing a lot of brothers and sisters the wrong way. You know, I was trying to find my balance, and I was being I wasn't really approachable. You know, when I look back at it, all praise to the Most High that He put a spirit on brothers and sisters, especially on brothers that was around me, to be long suffering. Because in a lot of ways, I offended brothers. Because I didn't really have, I didn't have that brotherly love. You know, like, I came from the world where I didn't grow up with my blood brothers, like my that came from my father's loins. So I always had kind of like this wall up that was kind of like, it just wasn't good. So I had to make some adjustments through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. I wasn't friendly. A lot of you sisters got that same challenge, and you brothers, but a lot of sisters as well got that same challenge. Yeah, you're not friendly, you're not approachable, you don't know how to build relationships. This ain't the world. Every sister who look your way is not damn bad mouthing you in their mind, is not rolling their eyes at you, is not sizing you up. Y'all, we in the truth, y'all. Or are we? Unless you be reprobates. Hey, but what does it say? But you know, Lord forbid you reprobates. So we got to change our mind. And in order to change the way that we think, we have to change what we pour into our spirits. Because the spirit, it's the spirit that quickeneth. The flesh profited nothing. These words I speak to you, what the words say, they are spirit and they are life. They are truth. So in order to change the way we're thinking, we got to change the way we're thinking. In order to do that, we got to start back to the foundation. Sometimes you got to, I was talking to one of my brothers in the body who does a lot of construction work, right? And he does, the Most High has blessed him to have this brother got a lot of different, how do you say it? Skill sets and accreditations and knowledge, right? And one day we was talking about what is it called? Demolition, right? And we was looking at a certain building that was downtown, and the building had to be demolished, but they didn't demolish the outside walls. You follow what I'm saying? They just demolished the inside. They totally like demolished everything inside, but the outside was still standing. And before they refaced everything outside, they literally was going on the inside, renewing and restoring everything. Hey, the plumbing, the electricity, the walls, the I don't know if you call it the struts. I think that's on a car. The frames, I think you call it the framing and things of that nature. The ceilings, the truss, all of those things. I had to clean it and strengthen it from the inside, y'all. That's what we got to do. We got to strengthen our nation back from the inside. And we got to take this serious. As much time as we spend trying to focus on how to debate this or how to break this down, man, when are we going to spend time on how to build up and start from a position of love among one another? Remember, it said affectionate upon your kindred. To be approachable, to be friendly, because you might have certain people who are going through some things, but they can't even come and talk to you because you're not approachable. But you have spiritual gifts that the Most High has blessed you with, whether it be prayer. Hey, some brothers and sisters give great advice. The Most High has blessed you with wisdom to be able to discern certain situations, to be able to discern, certain ways to how to move, to how not to move, but you can't even be used with the wisdom that the Most High has given you because you're not friendly. And brothers and sisters can't approach you. Where's the love, y'all? Where is the love? Let's get back to that Hebrews 13:1. Right. Let's get back to that Hebrews 13:1. Let brotherly love continue. Now, when you think about something continuing, that means there's a component of endurance, because you got to think about this. If something is just instantaneous, right? It may be here, it may be gone just as fast as it appeared. But when you think about continuity, I think that's the word I want. I think that's the word that I'm looking for. One second. Bear with me, y'all. Content. I don't really know how to spell it. Continuity. Look, the unbroken and consistent existence or operation of something over a period of time. You want your love to have continuity. I want to see something real quick. What is the difference between continuity versus endurance? I think they kind of like the same thing. In fitness, continuity or called continuous training and endurance are related but distinct concepts. Continuity refer, and this is in fitness, right? Continuity refers to a training approach where exercises performed at a relatively steady, moderate intensity for a sustained period. Endurance, on the other hand, is the capacity to sustain physical or mental effort for a prolonged time. But this is the thing. Notice that in both of them, the similarity is is effort over a sustained period of time, right? It's effort over a sustained period of time. So when we go back to this Hebrews 13:1, and it says, let brotherly love continue. We know that this goes into sisterly love. I believe this love goes into maybe Adelphos. We'll get into this strong. But when we go into this continue, right? Let's get this real quick. To stay, to abide, to remain. Look, to continue to dwell. A primary verb to stay in a given place, state, relation, or expectancy. Abide, continue, dwell, endure. Look, endure. Present. When you think about something that's enduring, it's not post. It's not just post. It's not just pre. It's presently. Endurance is to show up now, to remain. It's present tense. If I'm enduring something, that means I'm presently engaged in that act. Is your love present? Is your love of the community present? Is the and look, it even goes down to your household. Husbands, love your wife as Christ loved the church and gave himself for her. A wives, love your husbands. A children, honor thy father and thy mother, so thy days may be long upon the earth. Paraphrasing. You see how everything boiled back down to love? Do you love yourself? A lot of us come from damaged homes, broken relationships, broken families, heartbreak, mental health breakdowns. You know, we such a damaged people because of the curses. Self-inflicted wounds, though. A lot of us, we don't know how to love. That's why we need the precepts. That's why we have to be one of my favorite precepts when it says, I believe this is in is it First Corinthians or Second Corinthians? 1 second, real quick. That are renewed in the spirit of your mind. I believe that's First Corinthians. Is that? No, I'm thinking about Ephesians 4, but I'm also thinking about, I think that's 2 Corinthians 10, if I'm not mistaken. But let me get this Ephesians 4 and 23 real quick. Let me get this Ephesians 4 and 23. I believe that's 4 and 23. Right here. Ephesians 4 and 23. And be renewed in the spirit of your mind. Just because you didn't know how to love in the world, just because you came from a broken home, broken relationships, broken families, turmoil, chaos, troubled upbringing, what does that have to do with you being able to renew your mind and be renewed in the spirit of your mind? What spirit is occupying your mind? That's what you got to ask yourself. What spirit is occupying your mind? Is it the Holy Spirit of righteousness that's occupying your mind, that's meditating and controlling your thoughts? Or is it the spirit of disobedience, the spirit of the world? What spirit are you moving in? Y'all see how these questions are, they force you to face your demons. They force you to face and really, really reflect on, like, where are you at in your walk? Where are you at in this truth? Where did love go, y'all? How are we going? When you think about, and I was thinking about this earlier, I forget what I was reading. I don't even know if I was reading something. The most I just had put on my mind, I think I was at the office in the parking garage, and it hit me like when we think about rebuilding the walls of Jerusalem, like, and you think about the heathen building up the walls and building up the kingdom, right? And you think about that mighty work, right? And when you think about the intricacies in building a wall, like look at this real quick, y'all. Look at this real quick. Great Wall of China. Look at this. Look at the intricacies. The heathens are some builders, right? Think about when we got the heathen building up walls. Look at this. The intricacies of the bricks and the terrain and all of this. A lot of us, we got walls like this built up in our minds that literally are blocking you. These normally walls are built as a defense to keep things out that are unwanted and to keep things in that are desirous. But a lot of us got walls that have been built up from the things that we've gone through in our lifetime that are actually keeping the things that should be entering into your mind out, and the things that you should be getting out of your spirit is keeping them in. We got to break down these walls, y'all. And that's why when it goes into this Ephesians 4:23, saying be renewed in the spirit of your mind, this is going to help you break down those walls that you have. And because we are that new Jerusalem too through the spirit, right? Then this in Luke it says this, the kingdom of heaven is within you. Love is a very powerful foundation. It might not be easy for you to love when you move in the spirit of who you used to be. But you got to be able, now don't get simple. You got to prove a friend, right? You got to use discernment. You got to use discretion. You can't just open up to everybody. We get all of that, y'all. We're not saying throw out the wisdom that the Most High God has taught us through the word. We're not saying that. But we are saying is that, where's the love, y'all? Why don't we debate that? Why don't we debate where the love went? Think about it, y'all. Think about it. We got so many mighty examples of love. One of my favorite is what's his name? Jonathan. Jonathan and David. That the bond that they had, you got to understand, like, Saul wanted to kill David. And the bond and the brotherly love that Jonathan and David had, Jonathan literally hid David from his father Saul trying to kill him. Think about that. How did that happen? Matter of fact, let's get that in I believe that's 1 Samuel 18. Hold on, y'all. Let me go to my notes. I think that precept is 1 Samuel 18. Salakia, bear with me. Is that 1 Samuel 18, I believe? Yep, 1 Samuel 18, 1 through 4. Look at this. And it came to pass when he had made an end of speaking unto Saul, that the soul of Jonathan was knit with the soul of David, and Jonathan loved him as his own soul. And that goes back to that Deuteronomy 17 and 19 and 19, I believe. Right, let me see this real quick. That Deuteronomy 19 and 19. Bam. Hold on. Is that 19 and 19? No, that's not 19 and 19. Bear with me. What am I looking for? Or is that Leviticus? Slakia. I think it's 19 and 17 I'm looking for. Slakia, y'all. Bam. Look. Right here. Right here. But thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. It's Leviticus 19 and 18. Salakia. But thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Now, peep game. Back to this 1 Samuel. Look, it says that the soul of Jonathan was knit with the soul of David, and Jonathan loved him as his own soul. Hey, Jonathan is exemplifying what the attributes and characteristics that's demanded in the law, brother to brother. And Saul took him that day and will let him go no more to his father's house. Then Jonathan and David made a covenant because he loved him as his own soul. And Jonathan stripped himself of the robe that was upon him and gave it to David, and his garments, even to his sword, and to his bow, and to his girdle. Man, that's brotherly love. You got to understand what's going on here. David wasn't the king at this point. Jonathan was a part of the royal family. So when you think about him having that robe, this ain't just some regular robe. That's his robe, a royal robe that he got. He humbled himself, and for the love of his brother, he gave that robe to his brother. The Most High, and it goes to this: if it's hard for you to love your brother or your sister, you gotta pray, you gotta fast for that. You gotta ask the Most High, right? Make your request be known. Lord, hey, give me a loving spirit. Lord, give me a loving spirit. Not with, and that's not going into vain repetitions. Let's not get simple. You literally crying out to the Most High God because you're asking to be increased in righteousness. This is a mighty example, y'all. You got to think. Jonathan could have got a spirit on him where it's like, look, the hell with David. My father's house is at enmity, is at David. I'm about to side with my father. He did not love his father, but he didn't allow, he allowed the spirit of love and camaraderie to overtake him, where he loved his brother. And he didn't, a lot of times too, when it goes into love, it goes into partiality of judgment, right? You don't want to allow unrighteous judgment, right, to come into your deeds and your actions because you're showing favoritism in the sense of unrighteous judgment. I mean, I don't even know no other way to, ain't no other way to try to say it. You got to let love govern your actions. And that's chiefly going to be all of your actions when they based off of biblical love, they're going to line up with the commandments, and the Most High is going to bless you with that spirit of wisdom to know how to even move in certain type of situations, to know how to weigh things in a balance. This is what Jonathan was doing. This is what Jonathan was doing. Now I'm going to get a couple more precepts, right? Let's get Genesis 4. I think I want verse 5. Or is it bam right here? This is an example of how brotherly love did not remain. You got Cain who slain Abel. And we see this going on, y'all, all the time, manifesting. A lot of these brothers and sisters, even sisters, man. I know on the city, I'm in Toledo, Ohio. I know in the city, man, on the so-called 4th of July, it was like 7 damn murders. All of them was Israelites. I'm strongly led to believe, to the best of my recollection, all of them was Israelites. Israelites on stabbings, murders, shootings, all type of wickedness. That Cain spirit, that spirit of hatred for your kindred. Y'all, in the truth, we can't move like that, y'all. We can't move like that. It doesn't say in the book of Sirach, him who contemneth small things will fall little by little, paraphrasing. So when you think about that, it's like moving in just a little spirit of non-brotherly love could just turn into something out of control, little by little, little by little. And next thing you know, you moving in that Cain spirit. Because you got to think the Most High can give you over to a reprobate mind. Let's get this account. It's the book of Genesis, chapter 4 and verse 4. And Abel, he also brought the firstlings of his flock, and of the fat thereof. Slakia. And Yahweh had respect unto Abel and to his offering. But unto Cain and to his offering, he had not respect. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. And this will goes to be angry and sin not. And Yahweh said unto Cain, why art thou wroth? And why is thy countenance fallen? Right? Now, this is a rhetorical question. The Most High knows everything. Don't be simple. If thou doest well, shall thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door, and unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. Sin entered in and is going to rule over Cain because he didn't do what was acceptable. And Cain talked with Abel, his brother, and it came to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel, his brother, and slew him. And Yahweh said unto Cain, where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? Are you your brother's keeper? Are you moving in the spirit of Cain? This is the contrary of brotherly love. This is wickedness and hatred. You don't want to be moving in that spirit. Let brotherly love continue. And I got probably 30 more precepts, to be honest. You got Romans 12 and 10, 1 Peter 1 and 22, 1 John 3 and 11, 1 John 4 and 7 through 8, 1 Thessalonians 4 and 9, 1 John 4, 20 through 21, Galatians 5 and 13 through 14, 1 Corinthians 13, 1 through 3, Ephesians 4 and 2, we already brought that out, Colossians 3 and 12 through 14. And there's countless of precepts on brotherly love. But guess what? You can read all these precepts all day, and you should. And Lord willing, you do. But you got to put them into action as well, family. Where the love at? With that, we want to give all glory, praises, and honor to the Most High God, Yahweh. We do so by Shema Mashek, Wamalak Yahushai. Y'all, let's continue to build. Let's continue to keep the brotherly and the sisterly love. Once again, the water, all praise to the Most High. This is another Manna Mondays. Salaki, I was a little late tonight. I like to try to get these started around 9:30 every Monday. So, Lord willing, shalom, shalom. We'll see y'all again, Most High willing, next Monday at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. It's about 6:30 Pacific for another Manna Mondays, y'all. Kwam Yashala. Ahabatah, family.